Hey guys, welcome back to another Fallout 4 video. Today I'm going to be starting a new series called My Favorite Creation Club Creations. This is going to be a series where I present my favorite Creation Club creations and at the end tell you whether they were worth the purchase and if they were lore friendly. So the first one is Tunnel Snake's Rule, a Tunnel Snake Adventure. So what you're going to want to do first is tune into the faint radio signal. Then you're going to hear some faint growling, which is pretty strange. I teleported to Chestnut Hill Grove because that is the closest location to the subway station. If you don't know what the Tunnel Snakes are, the Tunnel Snakes was a mini faction in Fallout 3 that took place inside of Vault 101. After the Lone Wanderer left Vault 101, however, I do not believe that you can encounter them ever again. So the basic story from this is that one of the Tunnel Snakes came out of Vault 101 and ended up traveling to the Commonwealth and starting the gang. So I had to skip through a few enemies because, as you all know, I can't show any of that stuff on this channel. So we come into a bigger open area where we see what looks like a fort in the distance. There's some rad roaches nearby, so I decided to kill them. Don't worry, you won't see any huge amounts of blood. It's just some green goo, it looks like. Originally, I thought that was just dust flying up, because that happens sometimes. So after killing the rad roaches, I started to move closer, and then I opened vats to see if there were any big enemies I needed to kill, and there was a legendary charred feral ghoul. So I'm just going to take out my last minute, which is a Gauss rifle you get by buying it from one of the Minutemen near the end of the game, after one of their big quests, which was a very fun quest, by the way. And I'm just a bit unsure whether I should take the shot because I can't actually see it on the screen right now. And yeah, I'm just moving in. I usually use VATS to check my surroundings because I may not see the enemies, but VATS will detect them and allow me to know where they are. I really like the Gauss rifles in my game. They're in Fallout, they're my favorite guns in the whole game. Oh boy. And so this was a tough choice to make. I decided to shoot it, and it actually killed it once, probably because I did a sneak attack for double damage. There's another feral ghoul here, but I'm just going to skip through it because I can't show you guys me killing them. And so we come to the train station, and inside the train station, and I open the gate, and the first thing you probably see are some tunnel snake paintings and a barrel of toxic waste. That will be explained a little bit later. There are also some more enemies I didn't see coming. Had to take care of them. And so we find a dead tunnel snake that looks like it's been turned into a ghoul lying on a couch. Now it has a unique dress item called the tunnel snake's outfit, which I take off because you can only find them here, but not for any other reason. And so I turn around, there's some jet, which is a drug in the game, and I'm just going to pick up some bottle caps and scrap items I might need for building a bit later. And so moving through, we see another dead tunnel snake a little ways ahead, and there's also a mural on the wall, or I don't know what that is, but it's spray painted and it says Tunnel Snake's Rule, which is like what they say, it's their motto, I guess. Or maybe not. And so I skipped through this rad roach for you guys and head on to a room with a terminal, but unfortunately there's a ghoul in there and I had to kill it. I'm so sorry for the blood on the terminal. So we are going to be reading some entries made by a tunnel snake. So first week of joining up with the tunnel snakes. This is freaking awesome. We can do whatever the heck we want and ain't nobody going to stop us. Wally Mack found me. He's the top dog, said he walked all the way from DC to start this gang up. Took up shop in the Boston subway, party 24/7 down here. One of the cars had a ton of radioactive waste. I told Wally it might be a bad idea to touch those, but he thinks that keeping them around will give us superpowers. Ran into another group last night. They call themselves the Gunners, which we think is hilarious since their aim sucks. We took one hostage. They'll think twice about messing with us again. Wally found a sweet pistol on him. Maybe we can trade something good for it. Man, my head is freaking pounding. Some of the other guys are coming down with something too. It's bad. Everyone's got the shakes. George is dead. Everything I do hurts, even breathing. I think Wally's lost it. He just screams, and when he's not screaming, he's laughing. Laughing. I'm getting on the radio today. Maybe someone can help. And so that was what's on the terminal. And now we're headed through. Yeah, there's a something there that I can't show. Yeah, Fallout 4 is an amazing game, but they just add some stuff in that's not appropriate for some audiences, unfortunately. Now, the tunnel snakes took me like 2 days to edit. This was like my first time actually censoring stuff out. So this is their prisoner that died, apparently, and I just thought that I shouldn't show that because there was a whole lot of blood. And so there are some more ghouls down here. Wally Mack was actually. So there are three people: Butch, Wally Mack, and another kid who died in the vault when the Lone Wanderer escaped. And Wally Mack was with Butch, of course. And so this is actually him. He's actually pretty old if you think about it. And so here he comes. He's turned into a glowing one. I'm trying to get as much footage as I can before I'm forced to kill them. But yeah. And so on some of the tunnel snakes, you will find a weapon called the classic 10mm pistol. This was a 10mm pistol in Fallout 3, and I believe in the earlier Fallout games, and maybe even Fallout New Vegas. So I'm just going to run through some modifications for this. It's just some pretty standard stuff. But I do believe that something new was the sharpshooter's grip. Sharpshooter's grip. Sorry. Now I have no adhesive on me, so the only thing I can make is like a longer barrel, but I decided to change it back because I wanted the classic look so I could show you guys what it looked like without the modifications. And so here I am exiting out, and then here I am going back to fix that modification I did. And there we go. Now, this is a very nice gun. It's solid, but it's pretty weak when you first get it compared to some other upgraded 10mm. Now we're going to be switching over to the next creation called the Prototype. And here we are. So you get a quest called the Prototype, which all it says is retrieve the Gauss rifle prototype. And so I grabbed some power armor and headed over to Gunner's Plaza where the gunner with this gun was. And so I have the last minute on me, which you saw earlier in the video, but this was a pretty tricky boss to defeat, especially with all those gunners around there. I mean, they're shooting missiles at me, mini nukes are flying. It's pretty exhilarating to run through all that. You'll even get to see a bit of a mini nuke explosion. It's cool how they whistle through the air. Those are classic. So I'm heading up onto the roof with my power armor so I don't die. But it's pretty funny because I think in this I am level 68 and it looks like it's pretty hard for those gunners to shoot me. Like everything they're shooting at me, I don't even think I need to take a stim pack once. It's crazy. And Gauss rifles, as I said earlier, are my favorite weapons, so I try to conserve my 2mm electromagnetic cartridges, which I think sounds awesome. But once I got this, I used up all of them. I wanted to use it. So what this Gauss rifle is, in Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas, this is the model that you have. What I did for it is I changed it into a sniper Gauss rifle because that's what it was originally meant for in those games, and it works pretty well. So the way you fire it is, you see that crank on the side? After loading in the 2mm electromagnetic cartridge, you have to crank it up, and you can, like the laser musket, and you can crank it up a total of 3 times before you can shoot all 3 bullets. Now, that actually changes quite a lot. I was testing this out earlier this morning, and I was firing at some super mutants, and I cranked up 1 shot, went into VATS, it said I want to kill him, and after cranking up the last 2 shots, it was a 1-hit kill. This gun is strong. Although the damage once you first get it is not that good. A little bit later, it does improve. I know mine now, after I fully modified it, is around 288 with all 3 in them. Not per bullet, but once they're all 3 cranked up, then that's how it is. And so here I am just going to the weapons workbench to show you guys some modifications, but of course I have to get out of my power armor. And you see some of the arcade cabinets that we're going to cover in the next creation. To your right, if you saw those, they're pretty cool. And so yeah, I have to get out of my power armor and put it in the workbench and stuff. This morning I was playing some Fallout 4 and I managed to make my arcade the best it could be, and I have all arcade cabinets now, but you won't get to see that in the footage. But it's a very good creation. But enough of that. We'll get there when we get there. And so here I am in the Boston airport. I sided with the Brotherhood of Steel, which is where I have all my power armors and stuff. So there's some pretty decent upgrades for this, but probably as many as the actual Gauss rifle in this game. There are no material paints for it. You can get the shielded barrel and stuff. Nothing too special, but unlike most of the sights, they add in the long scope. I've actually never seen that before. Maybe I'm just not paying attention. But I actually don't like putting suppressors on rifles because it makes them look like this giant tank weapon that I'm holding on my shoulder. It just doesn't seem realistic. And I know it's a sniper, but no, thank you. I did put one on my Reba too this morning as well. So this is actually my third day editing this video. I can't believe it. If you want to know why I took the one on YouTube down, was because my voice acting was horrible. I mean, I was like, and so that's why I'm voice acting it now. Or what would it be? Voice recording, voice acting? So now we're going to be going on to the arcade cabinets. Now, actually it's called the Arcade Workshop Pack, but yeah, you can basically build your own arcade. So they added these carpeted floors, and of course I went with the blue because blue's my favorite color. And there's the foundations as well if you want to make it a bit more raised. But I mean, I need to have some fun at my hideout in Boston Airport, so I decided to build myself an arcade here with this stuff. And so for the walls, I just use concrete because they don't come with walls and stuff. But they added these really cool posters, 4 in total. One of Grognak, Automatron, Zeta Invaders, goodness, that sounded weird, and Pitfall. And if you don't know, all the arcade cabinets have the games that you find on holotapes across the wasteland. And there are the arcade cabinets, and they each have different paint jobs, but I didn't know that, so I made like 2 of every kind, and I ran out of, I believe it was copper to finish making all of them. So I just ended up having the Automatron and Atomic Command for this video, unfortunately. And yeah, they also come in with these pretty cool stools and lights, which I find very nice. I don't think I just found it out. So yeah, they all have their own design. I prefer the red Atomic Command. Maybe I'll change it to the black one. That looks kind of cool. And the red Automatron. I think that's how you pronounce it. Automatron? Yeah. And so they also added in these cool little things called the projectors. They project some symbols from each game onto a wall, but I could not get them to work, as you'll see in a little bit. Yeah. And so I just need some generators for this. They all require 1 electricity, which isn't that bad. And I do think it's very helpful to have a switched power pylon with some of the generators. I think the generators I used were the medium generators, but for this one I think I only used 1. If you don't know, the medium generators produce 5, and there are a total of 8 different games, and so I just ended up putting 2 on. Anyway, but I hope you really enjoy this creation. I think it's pretty clever how they did that. And yeah. You know, Boston Airport's pretty cool. If you see all my power armor there, I'd love to do a presentation on one of those. It'd be pretty cool to show it off to you guys. I've collected every single power armor in the game, plus a special, like my own custom power armor. You know, I actually prefer the T60 helmets over the XO1 helmets. I don't know if you guys prefer that as well, but I know that's what I do. And now I'm just going to play some nice music while you watch me build my arcade, because there's not really much to talk about now. And so now I'm going to talk with you whether these creations were worth the purchase and whether they're lore friendly or not. So for the Arcade Workshop pack, I do think that this one is lore friendly, simply because if they can get these video games onto holotapes and run them on Pip-Boys with a screen smaller than your head, why could they not do so on actual arcade machines? They obviously have the technology to, so I think this is lore friendly and it was definitely worth the credits. Also, make sure you look down in the description below for that credit prices of these. And one thing I did not like was how the projections did not work for me. I didn't like that because they do look like a really cool idea. I would really like to see them more easily used. For the prototype Gauss rifle, it was very lore friendly. Well, I mean, not really. It was lore friendly, simply because someone could have easily brought one of these rifles, traded it with a gunner, and yeah, or the gunner just killed them and took it. And so it was worth the credits because I really do like the model. For the Tunnel Snake's rule, this was also worth the credits. Same thing with the Gauss rifle. But this was sort of pulling the strings on lore friendly. I do think with the story they put up, it does make a little bit of sense, so I want to say that it is lore friendly. And yeah, these are my 3 creations that I have put on this video. I hope you all enjoyed, and make sure you like the video if you want to see more Fallout 4 videos. And yeah, this is the Science Gamer 10, over and out.